Last week I was telling you guys that the paint turned a bit yellow due to the plastic seeping through to the primer, through the color, and finally through the clear as well, making the white look more cream and have a lot of uneven spots all over the place. Some are more yellow than others, and some are perfectly pearl white. Now that was not really the way I wanted to do this, so I decided to do it over again. Instead of just stripping all the paint off, I could easily just sand it down with some 1200 grit sandpaper wet, just to make it nice and even and fully sticky for the next layer of paint to come on top of it. But I also needed to mask off some decals, so I punched a hole in some masking tape and then put that hole I punched out back into that piece of masking tape, so I knew exactly where the emblem was masked off and that it was done correctly and as close to the edge as possible. Now I obviously did the same by masking off some decals on the rear and also doing those gunmetal areas I painted earlier on, just so that I don't have to mask it off again and paint those separately as well. Now, instead of repainting it pearl white again and running the risk that the yellow would show through again, I decided just to go an entirely other route and go for a dark, very dark purple bluish Mercedes color. With the first very light mist coat applied, I just let this sit for 10 minutes while the paint was in the airbrush, then came back to it and applied a second coat a bit heavier, just covering this first coat up a bit more, and then again let it wait for another 10 minutes before I applied a third and final coat. And again, after the second coat, I just set the airbrush aside, leave the paint in it, wait for 10 minutes to dry off, and apply a third and final coat, just to make sure that everything is nice and evenly covered and I did not miss anything. After applying the third and final coat, being happy with the way that it covered and the color looks, I just set it aside for 60 minutes at room temperature, about 20 degrees Celsius, and let it dry off. After that, I just mixed up some of the new diamond clear coat from Zero Paints and applied a first light coat of clear. The first coat came out looking really good, so just a 5-minute dry time while the clear was left in the airbrush, chopped the airbrush off after 5 minutes and moved on to apply the second and final coat. The second coat is a bit thicker just to remove any of the remaining orange peel and finish this off really shiny.